Principles. They are the foundation for a system of beliefs or a set of behaviors. What makes principles so important and so powerful is that they can serve as a guide to your goals and your desires. The right set of principles leading you in the right direction will help you to make habit all of the actions that you need to take to get you to your destination. Much like Google Maps or MapQuest, those principles, when you have a principle in detail, they will give you steps to take all along your journey. This is principle number 9, which is called take action now. Now consider this. Our dreams are worthless. Our plans are merely dust. And our goals and objectives are nearly impossible unless you take action. All are of no value unless they are followed by action. The mantra for this principle that we want to repeat every day is, I will take action now. Never has there been a map, however carefully executed in detail and scale, which carries its owner over even 1 inch of ground. When you use MapQuest, they give you step-by-step directions. They tell you, turn left here, go 1,000 feet, go a half a mile, go a mile, go 15 miles, then exit this, then take a right, then take a left. They're giving you a step-by-step direction to get you to your destination. Goals and objectives and the actions, those 3 things together, will always get you to your destination. Never has there been a law or a rule, however fair or unfair, which prevented one crime. We know that most rules and laws came about because somebody did something they weren't supposed to be doing, and so they created a rule that said you can't do this anymore. For everybody to know, because that person, the very person who did it, may have said, I didn't know that was illegal. So when they created a rule that tells everybody else, you can't do this. This is illegal. This is against the law. Never has there been a principle, even one such as this one, take action now, which has earned so much as a penny or produced fame, accomplishment, more like that. So it's action, 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 action. Action alone is the tinder which ignites the map. In other words, action is what burns and make things start to happen. Now, our dreams, our plans, and our goals, when we take action, can be turned into a living force. Action is the food and drink which that force will nourish our success. But we must take action now. My procrastination, which has held me back, was born of fear, and now I recognize this secret mind from the depths of all courageous hearts. In other words, when we procrastinate based on fear, we're listening to our mind instead of listening to our courageous heart, which tells us this is the thing to do. This is what's necessary. Now I know to conquer fear, I must always act with hesitation, and the flutters of my heart will vanish. That pause, that pregnant pause that makes me think twice about taking action, all of that vanishes when I conquer that fear. Now I know that action reduces that lion of terror to an ant of compliance. But we must act now. Now, if you think about something like a firefly, if fireflies they only glow when they're flying around. They don't really glow when they're sitting still, because when they sit still and their wings fold up, their wings actually cover their little light on their tail end. So like the firefly, we should make sure that when we take action, we glow, that we bring attention to ourselves, positive attention. And so in other words, we only will produce that light when we take action. So when we want to produce our desires and our desired outcomes, we know we must be flapping our wings. We must be taking action in order to get the glow. So we're going to take an example from the firefly, and even in the daytime, so to speak, when our glow, what's going on? When our glow is not even hardly seen, we must take action. And we do that. Now we can let others be like butterflies who are busy preening their wings. At least that's the stereotype, because butterflies are beautiful. And so the assumption is that because they're beautiful, they know they're beautiful, and they spend a lot of time admiring their own beauty. But so we say we're not going to be like that. We're going to be independent, because although the butterfly is pretty and it flaps around, we know that the butterfly depends on a flower for nutrient. It must get that nectar and get that sugar water from a flower. We're going to be independent of the flower. We're not going to rely on something else to do that. So we want to try to be more like the firefly and brighten the world, metaphorically speaking. But remember, take action now. We will not avoid the tasks of today and charge them to tomorrow, for we know that tomorrow may never comes. Or we may not be here for it. Let us act now, even though our actions may not bring happiness or success, for it's better to act and fail than to not act at all. Happiness in truth may not be the fruit plucked by our actions, yet without action, all fruit will die on the vine. I mean, even that's not even just a metaphor, that's real life. Grape producers, wine producers, they know that they have to pick the grapes at the peak of freshness at just the right time if they want to get the wine, the end result wine that they want. They know just when the sugars are just right and all of that. So not only is that true metaphorically, it's also true in practical nature. But the key is we must act now when the time is right. That's all about timing. That's the key there, is timing. So yes, we must act now. Hopefully now is the time for that. When it's time, it becomes now, and then you should be sure to take action. Repeat after me. I will act now. I will act now. I will act now. I will act now. No matter how you emphasize it, the key is we must act. So therefore, I think that you should repeat these words again and again and again. I do so each hour and each day, every day, until the words become as much a habit as my breathing, and that the actions that inspire me to take action become as instinctive as blinking our eyes, something like that. So breathing, blinking. With these words, we can condition our mind to perform every act necessary for our success. If we just learn to take action, if we just think to take action and then physically take action and see what the outcome is. With these words, we can condition our minds to meet every challenge which that failure avoids. We just need to get in the habit of doing it each hour, each day, every day. We must act now. You say to yourself, I will act now. You say to yourself, I will repeat these words again and again and again. And that's what you do. You repeat them again and again and again. I will act now. And so when we awake, we can say the words and leap from our beds, if you will, while the failure can stay behind in the bed, leave the failure behind and get up and take action. But we must act now. Say it. I will act now. When we go out into the world for the day, we go into work, in the office, or whatever, we should say these words and immediately confront the first thing that we have to do in the day, even if it's something we don't look forward to doing. And we just, even though we consider that the possibility of failure, but we also know it's a possibility of success. But either way, you will act now. I say it to myself, I will act now. Okay, even if we face a closed door, we would then say and knock say the words, I will act now, while we're knocking on the door, while we're calling that client, while we're calling that prospective customer, or whatever other party that we're trying to get a successful outcome from. We want to say those words to ourselves while we knock on the door, and consider that failure is on the outside of that door, along with fear and trepidation. So even while we're knocking on that door, we consider success, fear, and trepidation. All of those could be on that side of the door, but we know which one we want, and we know which one we want to consider. But we must act now. So even when you face temptation, you will say those words, I will act now, and immediately act to remove yourself from that evil temptation. When I am tempted to quit, when you are tempted to quit and begin again tomorrow, procrastination, you can say those words, I will act now, and then immediately take action to go after another opportunity. Remember that only actions determine your value, especially in the marketplace. And as we talked about in previous chapter, when we want to multiply our value, part of that is you have to multiply your actions. And not just more actions, but better actions, but actions nonetheless. So what you want to do is you want to walk where the failures seek to walk, so that you can get through your failures to get to your successes. You can work when the failure seeks rest. So in other words, you can keep going rather than do like a lot of people do and quit when the going gets tough. You keep going, and let your rest be true rest and not just another form of procrastination. You can talk when your failures remain silent. So when your failures are silent, you have to talk through them to learn from your failure so that you can get to a success. And then when you can call on 10 people who will do business with you, who will say yes to your offer, while the failure makes grand plans to call on one. In other words, a lot of people will just, rather than call through 10, 20, 30, 100 people to get to those yeses, they would rather just ignore all of those what they see as no's, and focus on that one guy that they think is just going to be the one to say yes. And they'll wait and wait and wait. They'll never actually call him. They'll just keep thinking, this is my one yes. I just need to call him when I'm good and ready. But I will say that it is done before the failure says it's too late, because failure will tell you, don't even bother. But you want to push through and say, you know what, let me do it. Let me call them. Let me make that call. Let me make that trip. Let me make that effort. Let me take that action, rather than talk myself out of the action and say, I'm not even going to bother now. It's too late. You must act now for success. Because remember, now is all we have. Tomorrow is the day reserved for the labor of the lazy, as they say. Don't be lazy. I don't believe you're lazy, because if you were lazy, you probably wouldn't even bother to sit through this video as well as the rest of them. I say tomorrow is the day when evil can become good. But don't be evil today. Be good today. So act today and be good. Tomorrow is when the weak become the strong. So let's be strong and act today. Don't be weak. And then tomorrow is the day when failure will succeed. But don't be a failure tomorrow. Succeed today. Because remember, we will act now. Think about this. When a lion is hungry, he doesn't consider, I'll eat tomorrow. If he's hungry today, he's going to hunt and he's going to eat today if his hunt is successful. When an eagle is flying up high and gets thirsty, that eagle comes down, they find water, because eagles live near water, in case you didn't know that. They're going to come down and they're going to drink because it's thirsty. Lest they both will die if he doesn't eat, he doesn't drink. So be like the lion. Be hungry for success. Eat now. Be like the eagle, whose thirst for happiness and peace of mind is now. Take a drink. Now, if we don't, we will do this. We may not perish physically from a lack of success or happiness, but we most certainly will be living in failure, misery, and we will have more than our fair share of sleepless nights. Think of it this way. You will command yourself to take action, and then you will listen to yourself to obey your own command. Either way leads to action. Success will not wait. Success is like the beautiful groom or bride that we all hold dear. If we delay in reaching out to him or her and showing how much we care, we take action to show that we're interested, they will usually end up becoming involved with someone else, and they'll be forever lost to us because we failed to take action. So I end with this. This is the time. This is the place. You are the success, but you must act now. I hope this video finds you well. I hope this video is helpful. Stay tuned for the last video, number 10, the 10th principle, but it is by far one of the most important. See you soon.